all for being here. This is the Square and Compass Promotions 1 a.m. live stream. Let's give it a few minutes. Let's see who joins. As always, take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral? I'd love to hear them. And let's give it a couple minutes. I always do 1 p.m. streams and 1 a.m. streams. I love doing them both. Sometimes I find I get more people on the 1 a.m. streams, interestingly enough. However, this is going to be probably a shorter stream than usual. Usually these mornings I go for about an hour. I'll probably go for less than that today just because I'm tired. It's been a long day, so... Good morning, Dylan. How's it going? Thank you for being here as always. I hope that you're doing well. What time is it for you? Because you're over in England, right? So it's what, 7 a.m. for you, something like that? I'm going to be in England very soon. I can't wait. I'm very excited to be there very soon. Thank you, Linking Atlas, once again. Hello, how's it going? Thank you for being here. I'm doing this 1 a.m. stream, not for very long. It's going to be a shorter stream. But I like to stream at 1 a.m. and 1 p.m. Just see how you're doing and any thoughts you have on Freemasonry. How is your night going or morning, whatever time it is for you? Okay is good. Okay is better than not okay. Shecky, I'm not sure what that means. Who needs sleep, right? Linking Atlas, everybody needs sleep. Make sure you're getting some sleep. Hello, Shake. I hope you're doing well. You're here. You're gang stalking me, FDF, because you keep showing up on my stream. You can always, not attend my stream if you want. Having said that, I'm always happy if you're here. I know a few people have said it's all thanks to that YouTube algorithm. So if anything, you can blame the YouTube algorithm. It is 11. So it's 11. So you are about 12 hours ahead. It's 1:03 for me. Well, who needs sleep once again? But thank you, Linking Atlas, for being here. Do you do stuff on YouTube as well, or you just scroll and watch people on YouTube? Well, I appreciate that. I mean, by all means, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz, right? Sharing the stream with others is a great way. At the end of the day, what makes this successful is I'm not going to mod you, FDF. I tend to avoid doing that. What works best on social media in general, I think, is always the great WOM, word of mouth. That's what makes almost anything a success in the game of content creation. So I am not. I am a Mason. I'm a Freemason, but that's not a gang. But that's what this channel talks about, G5, Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have on it, positive, negative, or neutral? I'd love to hear it. And thank you so much for being here as always. G5, Gabby, please hit like and subscribe. So Linking Alice, what is your station or your channel about on YouTube? Do you live stream? Do you do videos? Do you do a combination of both? Oh, looks like everybody left. All right, well, let's wait for a few minutes. We'll see who else joins. Maybe we'll get a few more people on stream. If we don't, that's okay. If we do, that's great. We'll give it a couple more minutes, though. I was hoping to get one more sub because I'm one subscriber away from 5,780 subs. I always like the even numbers, the even tens. So well, it looks like we got a bit of a, let's see if I can. I am not an agent of anything, Mossad, nor anything else. I'm just happy to be here. I mean, I wish I was a secret agent. It'd be a lot of fun, but not the case. Plus, I have no legs. I don't think you can be a secret agent if you're missing your legs. I mean, maybe it's okay. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. Anything's possible. Maybe if I live my dreams, one day I'll be a secret agent. They'll get me robot legs or something. Well, I appreciate that, but I'm okay for now. I don't think I'm looking at services at the moment for YouTube promotion, but I appreciate you offering it to me, and thank you so much for that. Well, you'll just have to trust me. You're going to have to use a level of trust on this. Here, what I'll do is I will... Hold on just one sec. I'll show you my wheelchair. See, this is... I don't know if you can see. This is my wheelchair. So there you go. I appreciate that, Linky, but I'm okay. I'm not going to have any services at the moment, but I appreciate you. Hey, I got my 2,880 subs. Thank you so much for that. So yes, me and my chair, but sorry, Linking Alice, not interested in any services at this time, but I do appreciate that very much. If anybody does want to support the channel, hit the like and subscribe and do a super chat. It's going well, I think. Why is it not coming through? Are you missing something with the internet? Okay, so I was curious when you said how's the internet in my area. I was wondering if it wasn't coming through well enough. Luther, I think you might be new to the stream. I think, if I'm mistaken, I'm sorry about that, but If you do want to hit like and subscribe, and let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. FDF. I'd like to think I'm a nice guy. Some will agree, some will disagree, but I try my best, is what I'll say. And I think being a Freemason in some ways helps me be a nice guy. So there you go. Daddy and a caddy with $2. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I have no idea what you mean, though. I want thoughts on your computer hard drive. I don't know what that means. I'm very sorry. Like, I have a hard drive. Um, it's wonderful. It's mostly full of Masonic stuff, like my ritual work, and my Masonic summonses and things like that. So, welcome. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Please take a moment, hit like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear it. Um, FDF. Out of curiosity, FDF. Do you do stuff on YouTube? I mean, you have a account obviously, but do you post anything? Do you talk about anything at all on YouTube? I'd be curious to. And if you do, everybody go check out his channel. Even though I feel like would not be supportive of Freemasonry necessarily. It's the middle of the night for me too. It's 1 a.m. So yeah. I hope you're doing well. And I do not know how to, Dougie, so I cannot help you. Fiat 196 POS. Are you saying I'm a piece of shit? Plus, 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 plus. Many people would agree with you on that. So you would not be, many people would agree with you on that. You'll have to get in line if that's your thoughts. But thank you for being here. Even if I'm a POS, plus, 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 you can still hit like and you can still hit subscribe. And you can still even do a super chat, would be very kind of you. It's a robot. Who, the Fiat? Maybe. Teach me, how's it going? Do you have any thoughts on Freemasonry? Positive, negative, or neutral? I'd love to hear them. Theophilus, welcome. Thank you for joining us as always. I hope you're doing well also. How is it going for you? I mean, the one thing I sacrifice is my time. That is it. So, nobody's getting sacrificed. I'm doing well as well. Cowboys 95. If I look like your garden gnome, then you can hit the like and subscribe button in honor of your garden gnome. I'm assuming your garden gnome is the most handsomest, wonderful gnome in all of gardens, is what I'm going to assume. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Thank you everybody for being here. As always, getting a lot of people showing up for these late streams. 20 people at 1 a.m. 20 people can't sleep just like me. So I much appreciate you being here. I'll take it. Thank you so much, Cowboys 95. Do you have any thoughts on Freemasonry? Positive, negative, or neutral? I'd love to hear them. We do not sacrifice animals or anything else. You can't think of it as a fraternity or a civic organization. I've been to the Ann Arbor Masonic Building a few times. It's an incredible building. It's beautiful. Were they from Ann Arbor, Michigan, Theophilus? I had no idea. That's really cool if they were. Out of curiosity, teach me how to Dougie. Where did you hear that they sacrifice animals? I'm assuming it was some YouTube people, um, is where it came from, or some social media silliness is going to be my assumption. Well, you ought to be careful listening to college students. They can be misinformed as much as the next of us. Bro, yes. Well, I hope you'll say yes to liking and subscribing. Freemasonry is a civic organization or a civil organization. A civic is probably the best way to think about it. It's like a social club or a social group. The majority of it is fraternal, though there are orders for women as well. But a social group or a social club, it was evolved from stonemasonry guilds in the Middle Ages. Um, Ringling Brothers were from Iowa. Sorry. Okay, well, I mean, I did not know that at all, so at least I learned something new. Interesting that Freemasonry and the circuses have an interesting connection. Not only because sometimes Freemasonry feels like a circus, but because, um, the Shrine are Freemasons, and famously the Shrine had their Shriner circuses. Well, Mastermind, you can still hit like and subscribe, even if I look like Mo, Larry, and Curly all together. I am a Freemason. I've been a Freemason since 2007. So I'm a Mason actually in five different Masonic lodges, three here in Ontario, one in Texas, one in Israel, interestingly enough. So, and maybe another one pretty soon. I think I'm a real Freemason. I have dues cards that say I'm a real Freemason. I have jewels that say I'm a real Freemason. So there is that at least. Um, I guess everybody can decide for themselves if they think I am or not or believe me. At the end of the day, everything on YouTube you have to take with a grain of salt. But um, so be it. Matt, we're talking about Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral? I would love to hear them. And I hope that you are doing well. I hope you're having a great night. I'm not going to say anything, Gwen, unless you hit like and subscribe. If you hit like and subscribe and give me a $1 super chat, I will read out your full sentence, Gwen Berg, starting with have you heard of the Lodge? If you like, subscribe, and give me a super chat, I'll finish that sentence for you. If you don't, then you're on your own. I'm not falling for that. I've been on YouTube for a little while now, Gwen Berg. You have to wake up pretty early in the morning to get one over on me. I've grown used to don't read out the comment until out loud until you've read it in your mind at least once. I've learned that is the trick. JG Lewis 622. Sorry, Fiat. I still don't know what you're talking about, but I do hope you like and subscribe. It was a good try, though, Gwen. It was a good try. TS, I don't know what TS in Canada means, or Calgary. You got a strong, I have a very strong head. Stamy70. Please hit like and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. Wow, Fam is getting super into the, existential questions. I think I'm a real YouTuber. I'm here. I think I'm real. You'd have to, you know, how do we know any of us is real? How do we know that I'm not just talking to myself in a padded room at the moment? Welcome, Sarah V. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. I hope that your status will be to like and sub, and let me know if you have any other thoughts on Freemasonry. Well, most people would agree that I'm crazy, but I like to think I'm crazy like a fox. I read it in my mind first. Now I'm reading it in real life. Don't read this in your mind, LOL. How do we know? Well, you just have to trust me. I already showed you my wheelchair. What more do you want from me? By the way, I'm not saying I have bring up the no legs because I want super chats. I mean, if you want to give me a super chat because I have no legs, I guess that's fine. But the reason you should be giving me a super chat is because you enjoy my content and you support my efforts to turn my passion of Freemasonry into profession. And you enjoy the content promoting the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it is located. I didn't know he was um, a Freemason at all. Never mind the oldest. I was born this way, so I never had them. So nothing happened to them. I just never had legs. Oh, he is a Freemason. I had no idea. Member of Monterey Lodge, um, which would be, I guess, I think I've been to his lodge actually. That looks really familiar. Is Monterey Lodge in Los Angeles? Well, you can still like me even if I'm a Freemason. We can agree to disagree. I don't use prosthetic limbs. I use my wheelchair. I like my wheelchair. I find it works really well. So that's a bit harsh, Nathan Ryan. So Monterey, California is a town? I had no idea. All I know is there's a Masonic lodge called Monterey Lodge, which I guess is must be the town Monterey. Cool. I mean, it looked familiar, but I must not have ever been there before. I have been to California, both. I have been to California, Los Angeles, and uh, San Francisco, and loved them both. Freemasonry started probably in Scotland or in London or in England. You can pick either or. I think most people would say speculative Freemasonry started in speculative Masonry started in Scotland, but Freemasonry itself, in an official sense, started in California. Yes, it is. You're not wrong, Nathan. I mean, Los Angeles is a very small part of California. So is uh, San Francisco, but those are the exclusive two places I've been to thus far. I'm hoping to get to more soon. I'd love to go back. California is such a beautiful, beautiful state with really incredible people. Well, that would be the typical date, June 24th, 1717, the foundation of the premier Grand Lodge of England, which I get to visit very soon, and I'm so excited for. But yeah, that's why with Freemasonry, our patron saint is Saint John the Baptist, because June 24th is the feast of Saint John. Interesting enough. Honestly, Gwen, that is a really tough question to answer. The reason being, obviously, the goal of a member of any club is to maintain that club, right? So a Freemason will perform all the tasks necessary to maintain a Masonic lodge, such as, during a business meeting, we'll pay bills, minutes, whatever it might be, right? Correspondence, charity, checking in on brethren who may be sick or distressed, going to hospital visits, um, uh, the other thing that they do is they perform their ceremonies and rituals to bring in new members. They also will attend special events. Um, Ultimately, though, it's a support system and a social club. So all the things that would go into that. Um, Powder, I loved California. I don't like, I will take no knocking of California on this stream. I loved California. I thought it was an incredible state. Again, Los Angeles and San Francisco were the two places I went, but I loved them both. It's more, think of it like the latter. It's not religious. To be a Freemason, it's not a religion. There are, you do need to believe in a supreme being, but that supreme being is up to you. We have many Masons who are Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Sikh, etc., etc. I think it is. I mean, I've always said that Freemasonry is in some ways as part of the social safety net. Not exclusively the social safety net, but I think Freemasonry forms a part of the social safety net, a very important part of it. In combination with churches, community groups, government assistance, neighbors helping neighbors, it all helps to keep people connected to their communities and keep them from falling through the cracks. We are not Satanists, I'm very sorry to say. Illuminati was founded by Adam Weishaupt, who was actually a Freemason himself. However, he decided he did not want to remain a Freemason. He thought it was too expensive and thought it was not esoteric enough. Sure, I've known a few gay Freemasons. Great brothers, great people. Love them very much, as I do love all my brothers. We do not plan bad things. We mostly can't plan anything, but we're working on it. I loved everywhere I was in Los Angeles. I loved checking out Village Studios, which is it is a recording studio that was a Masonic temple. I loved checking out the architecture. I loved visiting the lodges. I loved checking out the locations from my favorite movies, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. I thought that they were incredible films, so I loved that very much as well. And yeah, esoteric. There's some esoteric qualities to Freemasonry, right? Esotericism just means private or known to a few. So under that, definition, your bank account information is esoteric. Well, fair enough, Nathan, but you can still hit like and subscribe. Sure, Matt is alive, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know a ton about religion and religious doctrines and different types of religious doctrines. So I don't know if there's disputes in the Christian community about that, but for me personally, from the outside, I would consider them to be Christian. They certainly, if you're a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints, you could be a Freemason because you believe in a supreme being. If I could hang with one Hollywood, it would be Lisa Wilcox, who played Alice Johnson in Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5. Chris, I gotta disagree with you on this one, Chris, although I appreciate you being here. I love The Dream Warriors. It's the first scary movie I ever saw, and I fell in love with it. However, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 and Part 5, I think, are both better than Dream Warriors. I love them both. I actually wrote about it on Medium, and I don't think you can actually divide or say, I am Theet. If I had to give my ranking of the best Nightmare films, and I love them all, I would say Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5 are tied for first place. When it's a sunny day, my favorite film is Nightmare 4. When it's a rainy day, it's Nightmare 5, followed by Dream Warriors, and then I love all the other ones as well, but those rankings kind of change. Well, interesting enough, Mormonism was started by a Freemason, Joseph Smith, though I don't know much about Mormonism, like their actual beliefs or faith or practices. But I don't judge anybody. I will not be a reviler of anyone's religion. So I know about Dubai chocolate. I think it's supposed to be really good, right? Chris, no hate. I appreciate you being here, but Chris, I gotta disagree with you. It's 4 and 5 for me. 1 and 3, though, are both incredible films. Don't get me wrong. If I could give you a slight change, I will say 3 has the best soundtrack. Well, I'm used to it. Online, a lot of things are at my expense. you'd have to talk to your lodge, Theophilus. You'd have to talk to your lodge that you're looking at joining, explain what you believe, and go from there. I don't think so. I suspect that he would not be allowed to be a Mason because of his convictions and notoriety. So I don't think so. What I would always say, though, to anybody, if you have a criminal record and you've made amends and you tried to turn your life around, go talk to, and you want to join Freemasonry, go and talk to the lodge, explain what happened, explain the criminal record, and ask them, if they would allow you to complete an application. Because having a criminal record doesn't automatically preclude you. However, my suspicion is certainly if he were to petition my lodge, I would say no, because the nature of his crimes were too heinous. Afternoon, insert name here. Welcome and thank you everybody for joining. Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. Positive. Oh, things trigger me in real life, Mark. But the thing is, I've learned that YouTube and online is not real life. So that is one of those things where I don't take offense to anybody who says anything online because, hey, it's okay. It's not real life. It's just online. Don't take it too seriously. Well, we're still here in Windsor anyways. So there is that. I can't speak for your community, but we are still here and welcome. And also consider doing a super chat of just 99 cents. It helps out the stream big time. There are plenty of Freemasons in Winnipeg. My dad's a Freemason in Winnipeg. As is, I know many other Freemasons who are in Winnipeg. Freemasonry is alive and well in Manitoba in general and Winnipeg specifically. Yes, insert name here. They did indeed originate from actual Masons. I'm proud to say they originated from stonemasons in the 15th century. One thing I've always thought is we as Freemasons should know more about our stonemason roots. Thank you. God bless us indeed. It was in the 15th and 16th centuries. That's why so many of our symbols are stonemasonry based. My favorite Stanley Kubrick movie, probably 2001: A Space Odyssey. I'm not a huge Stanley Kubrick fan. I love horror films, but it's funny, I didn't even pick The Shining because I prefer the book. Hey, Etobicoke has a lot of Freemasons as well. Very funny, Nathan. Please hit, by the way, everybody watching this, please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Let me know if you have any thoughts and questions on Freemasonry. And even consider doing a 99-cent super chat. Yes, 2001 was extremely good. I agree with that 100%. Not that I've ever met Theophilus, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. I don't know much about Scientology. To my knowledge, however, Scientologists believe in a supreme being. So I believe they could be a Freemason, but I don't know much about it. Chris Molina, I would say yes. I would say From Hell, starring Johnny Depp, is a Freemason horror movie. So, yes, I would say that is the case. There's no Freemasonry in Star Wars. However, I am a Mason, Shelby. Been a Mason for 20 years. To the Star Wars question, give me 1 sec. I got this to show you. I'll be back in 1 second. Speaking of Star Wars and Freemasonry, I have this pin here. I got to find it now. Of Star Trek and Freemasonry. I just don't know where I put it. I have all these pins. And one of these I've never read the comic, but I really want to. It's on my list of things I want to check out for sure. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Took me a second to find it. Yes, there it is. Check out Star Trek and Freemasonry, alive and well. What about the Stanley Cup? I don't really follow hockey, I'm sad to say. Shelby, hit that like and subscribe button. Do you have any thoughts on Freemasonry you'd like to share? Positive, negative, or neutral? I'd love to hear them. I did not know that, Gwen. But I guess to all the trans people out there who, um, yeah, it is, who are struggling, heaven forbid if you've been the victim of a crime, heaven forbid if you're no longer with us, either because of self-harming or, somebody doing something against you, whatever it is, um, yeah, my thoughts are with you. Um, what can you tell about the Masons? Someone when you say what can I tell, I mean, obviously, I mean, I can talk about like my experience with Freemasonry. I can talk about the history of Freemasonry, the fact that it was founded in, you can pick different dates, but I tend to go 1634 in Scotland. The Premier Grand Lodge of England was formed in 1717. That the best way to think of it ultimately is as a civic organization or a civic group or a support group for both men and the community. I got no legs, Fiat. I honestly think Freemasons do. It is cold. I grew up in Winnipeg. Freemasons do a lot of donations to different charities, including sometimes collecting coats and hats and scarves. Well, I think older generations, both my grandparents were Masons, older generations have the tendency to, older generations have the tendency to not talk about it as much. When in the early 1900s, like when it was have that first boom period, it was talked about all the time. It was very open. It was really within the last 10 to 20 years. Well, it was in the 60s on that people became quiet about it, but now they're starting to talk more about it again. So, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I hope everybody's doing well. Please take a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what your thoughts are on Freemasonry. Positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. Thank you, Holiday House, for being here. I hope you're doing well also. I have seen Lodge 49, or at least I've heard of Lodge 49. I shouldn't say I've seen it. I've seen clips of it. I can't speak to much about it. I've just seen the clips, but definitely whenever I see Lodge in a title, I think Freemasonry. Who is the Blackstone CEO? I'm not sure to what you're referring there. Is he? I mean, you brought up Blackstone a few times. I know nothing about Blackstone other than, to my knowledge, it's a weapons company. Even that, I could be mistaken. I believe it's a weapons company. Esotericism is fun. I have a 24-hour live stream coming up on the 21st of December. We can do esoteric then. What's the meaning of apron? So we in Freemasonry, again, because we were based on stone masonry, the stonemasons who were craftsmen, they wore aprons, right? And the aprons they wore were to protect their clothing from stone chips and damage, and if they were using any solvents, any stains. And when we became speculative masons, which means we don't work with stone, but we're a social group, we continued wearing aprons, both as a show of respect for our stonemason forefathers, as well as metaphorically to remind us to keep ourselves clean from stain and vice and sin and vice. Everything in masonry, it has a symbolic meaning, not an actual meaning. That, Stephen, I'm not going to say whether there is or not, because that is a private thing. However, actually, I can say there's no noose in a ritual. There is no noose. You're thinking of something different. Which, if you want to learn more about it, you got to join. There was, insert name, there was suspicions that caused a lot of Masons to become quiet. Unfortunately, I think it was the opposite approach that we should take. We should have been louder. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I have a cat. If I had kids, though, I wouldn't make them Masons. I wouldn't encourage them to be Masons. If they wanted to be a Mason, I would support it 100%, but it would be up to them completely. It would be of their own free will and accord. right? Which is appropriate. And my dad never encouraged me or made me become a Mason. I always just assumed I would join, seeing all the things that he did. So yeah. Um, but anything, as I always say, right, everything within Freemasonry, ultimately what it has is it has a meaning and a purpose behind it. It has a metaphorical meaning. That's the really beautiful thing about Freemasonry. It might be referred to something like that. Again, I'm not going to confirm or deny. What I'll say is everything has a meaning behind it. Um, if you want to learn that one though, because that there are certain aspects of the ritual I choose to keep private. If there is or is not, you have to join to learn more about that. What I will say is, I've never come across anything within Freemasonry that made me feel nervous or unsafe. I am not Jamal. I am not. At least I hope I'm not. I suppose we all have our prejudices, but I try my best to be a good person and to not be racist. That's fine, and it's not for everybody. It's like music. Just because your dad loves a song doesn't mean you will love a song. Which is okay. Um, at least you gave it a shot. I do not have secret information on health and wellness. I will say being a Freemason improves your health and wellness because they found people with a support system and friends are more likely to live longer lives and live healthier lives. There was this study that showed if you suffer a heart attack or a stroke and you end up in the hospital, you are 2.5 times more likely to have a secondary incident or even pass away if you don't get any visitors. So if you're a Mason and you have people visiting you, you're more than likely to be healthy. Your grandfather did not worship the devil. Whomever told you that was incorrect. It's unfortunate. Well, so Shelby, it's not that you can't join. That is a little bit of a misconception. You could join the Eastern Star, which is a order for men and women that is recognized by Freemasonry, and many Masons travel to it and visit it. You could join Eastern Star, which is a Masonic group. There's also the Order for Women Freemasons. Now, it's not very well, there's not a lot of lodges. They're primarily located in England and Ontario, but they do exist. What I would say, though, is Eastern Star might be the best approach for you, and Eastern Star is a great organization. Hello, Agampreet. Thank you for being here. It does a little bit, but unfortunately, it's kind of one of those things where you just have to it is what it is, right? Because I've said it before, I've used the example of the family recipe. If I choose to keep a recipe private because it's a family recipe and I don't want to share it, some people may question if it's good. They may say, well, the recipe must taste bad if you don't want to share it, or you might not have a recipe. I just have to be willing to accept those criticisms. I don't really follow religion per se. I'm not an atheist. I believe in a supreme being, but I don't have any particular religious beliefs per se. Well, you may have removed them from Ottawa. However, you may think you did. However, I've been to Ottawa and I love Freemasonry in Ottawa. I love the Freemasons of Ottawa. They are a great group of people. Hello, Crystal. Thank you for being here. Please hit like and subscribe. I hope that you are doing well. I am Canadian. Maybe I have an accent. Born and raised, Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Augie, welcome back. Why did you spend the night there? Were they doing like some type of overnight event? Those do happen. I've been to ghost tours that have been taking place overnight, whatever it might be. I'm from Windsor, so 2 hours away. There you go. Or London, England. Do you mean London, Ontario, or London, England? Because I will be going to London, England very shortly. My channel is all about Freemasonry. I do streams 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. Okay, so yeah, 2 hour. Hey, I love London, Ontario. You're 2 hours away from me. I've been to London dozens of times, very often for Masonic events. And I've always loved London. I love both Masonic buildings there. Yes. I don't know what that means, Tim. So I'm going to say yes, but that's probably a dangerous thing to say because I don't know what it is. So I probably shouldn't agree. I love scary movies. I love horror. Freemasonry isn't about horror, but I do love horror movies. My favorite horror movie and my favorite movie of all time, Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5. And gang stalking does not. I'm neither in a gang nor do I stalk anybody. Um, Thank you, everybody, for joining. Please hit like and subscribe. A Mason is a member of a Masonic Lodge, which is a fraternal order that's existed since around 1717. You can argue it a little bit before that. Yeah, well, brain scramble, and please hit like and subscribe. I'm glad that you respect that. It's not even about, I wouldn't say it's about respecting knowledge per se. I think that's a little bit of a miss. I mean, you're not wrong, but I think the better way to think about it is protecting the bonds of brotherhood between past and future generations, between your great grandfather and him, right? When I protect certain private elements of ritual, it's because it helps me maintain the bonds of brotherhood between past and future generations. If I start to share them, it's the Illuminati. Freemasonry and the Illuminati are different things. Illuminati hasn't really existed since probably 1910, 1920, something like that. Sorry, Craig. I appreciate you being here. Please hit like, Craig. Please hit subscribe. But you are incorrect. It's not about keeping anybody enslaved, nor is it about maintaining hidden knowledge. Unless you're keeping hidden knowledge by not providing your bank account information, which you shouldn't. My point is there's many valid reasons to keep things private. Sorry, Craig, you are incorrect. They're not. They're just regular people, believe me. There's not even any high ranks in Freemasonry. I don't really believe in Wiccan. I've known a few Wiccan Freemasons, right? Wiccan Freemasons, but I don't really personally necessarily believe in it myself. I tend to be very skeptical of kind of spiritualism in general. I believe in a supreme being, but when it comes to either religions or spiritualism or Wiccanism, I tend to be somewhat more skeptical. Having said that, if you are a Wiccan, good for you. I hope it brings you peace, comfort, happiness, and helps you, in life. Why is that? Why is that wrong, Craig? To keep certain messages or certain knowledge hidden. Again, do you share with people your bank account information? Do you share with people your your private details of your life? I don't have legs, so I wear shorts, and I do put them on one stump at a time. Crystal, I believe in a supreme being, right? Is a term I'd use for greater God. I'm not Jewish, but even if I was, there'd be nothing wrong with that, Paul Lloyd. Freemasonry welcomes men of all different faiths and beliefs. Sorry, what's the book to which you're referring? Every Mason has his own opinion. One thing we're not allowed to discuss in Lodge is politics and religion. So you would have to ask every different Mason what his opinions are of Israel. I'm a member of a lodge in Israel. I have a lot of concerns with the government of Israel, but not the people. I got a big gap in my front teeth. What can I say? Well, I mean, I would say sometimes, I mean, when you say, again, define the dark, right? Would you count your bank information as the dark? Um, well, so when people talk about the Masonic Bible, it really is a misunderstanding. There is no quote unquote Masonic Bible. What the Masonic Bible is the King James Bible. It's the King James version. You're not going to find any different wording in it than you would find in the standard text. But the difference is it's got a square and compass on the front, and it's got a place in for members to sign who are at a lodge. Because usually what they'll do is they'll use a Masonic Bible as a gift to give to um, a brother as he's going through his degrees. Um, is Chuck handsome? Chicken and fries? I don't know. I don't watch Better Call Saul. So I don't know who Chuck is, but please hit like and subscribe in honor of Chuck from Better Call Saul. Well, I think the people asking these questions do because this channel is all about Freemasonry. Well, I mean, he's not unless he joined. You can be, you can have mental health or physical health issues and still be a Freemason. But if he was never initiated, pastor raised, and he's saying he's a Freemason, it might just be something he picked up or some idea he got from media. But you don't just say you're a Freemason. That's not how it works. There's a process to become one. The first step is approaching a Masonic lodge. I like animals of all sorts, Agampreet, whether they be pigeons or otherwise. Um, I think God likes masonry. I hope he does. I think that's a really good question, Doggy. How does believing in a higher being affect me? So my belief in a supreme being gives me a comfort because it tells me that we live in a rational, ordered universe, and I'm able to make decisions based upon that. Um, when you say here, where is here on the stream? What problems are on the stream? I'm having a great stream. I'm loving this stream. Thank you everybody for joining. Please hit like and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. Sorry, Crystal. I mean, I think maybe you just need to see about getting your son some help, some professional help. But you can't just say you're a Freemason. That sounds to me like he just picked that up somewhere. There's a process, and you would know about, you would know if he had joined because I don't know if he lives with you or not, but there's meetings and he has to talk to guys and get to know them. I mean, I think people are trying to deal with problems that exist in the world. I also think things are actually somewhat better than we think. My forehead is very big, Body Transformer. You can still hit like and subscribe and consider doing a super chat of 99 cents. That's a good point, KG. Since this is my only universe in which I exist, it might be extremely chaotic and I'd have no basis of reference. However, the fact that I'm able to make decisions and make measurements and get a rational outcome from those measurements, at least within this, helps me think, it's going to be okay. I think so, because we'll be able to tell by the consequences of what's happening, right? I think for me personally, I think it's possible to recognize outcomes, positive and negative, right? If an outcome, like I'm able to recognize if I injure myself, that's a negative outcome. And if somebody else injures me, I'm able to recognize it as evil, right? Um, no, I never said it does. I don't necessarily know how the universe came into existence. What I know is it appears to me to be rational and ordered. Um, you're welcome, Shelby. Thank you for being here. I like the world. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get into problems and fights with people all the time, and I wish things were better. But I do actually genuinely like the world. I like being part of it. Thank you, everybody, for joining. If you have any thoughts on Freemasonry, please hit that like and subscribe button. Toll House. Yes, I look like Bob the Builder. We can fix it. We can fix the world. And I would argue that when it comes to Freemasonry, one of the main positions I have or beliefs I have is that as a Freemason, the world can be made better through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. Okay, $1, Nathan, $1. Well, DF, you can still hit like and subscribe. Steven Skiba. Well, luckily, my experience, Freemasons are not a bunch of crooks. We are, some people prefer to be on their own, and that's perfectly fine. But I hope you will consider or reconsider your thoughts on Freemasonry. A lot, actually, Dark Dubstep King. Now, when I say a lot, I don't mean they don't get to make policy decisions. They don't get to, make decisions as to the economic policies of a country. But they do act as a social safety net. I've known brothers who remained in their houses because Freemasons stepped in with benevolence to assist them. I've known Freemasons who have helped brothers struggling with mental and physical health issues get the help they need, drive them to doctor's appointments, bring them food. And that doesn't just help the community. If we do have, let's say, a recession and Freemasons assist brethren to stay in their lodges, one of the beautiful things about that is it helps the whole community. Less man on the street who needs to use a shelter, needs to use a food bank, etc., etc. Freemasons also help people's health by giving them social supports. As a consequence of that, they're less likely to need medical interventions, less likely to go to the hospital. So Freemasonry helps the world in many ways. So you pay in whatever dollar you are from. So if you're living in America, you will see it in American. I see the Canadian exchange rate. We do not BPF. We do not. But please hit like and subscribe. Freemasons do not worship any particular religious figure. Rather, every Freemason has his own supreme being. I think you may have been listening to too much or reading too much More the Dogma. And it is not a cover for Illuminati either. My opinion I say come one, come all. One of my favorite things about Canada is its welcoming attitude. So that's what I support. Parent, family, I have no idea. What time is it? I'm going to assume time to get a new fence. Hey, you're not wrong, Dark. There are a lot of economic challenges right now, especially in the States, but also in Canada. Having said that, I'm not willing to bet 100% we're going to hit a recession. I think it's possible. But either way, it gives me comfort to know that within Freemasonry, we will be there to help our brothers. That's my hope anyways. George, I got to disagree with you on that one. I'm no fan of Trump myself. That's just me personally. Having said that, please hit like and subscribe nonetheless. We're not in a recession yet. Sorry, BPF, you've been reading too much Morals and Dogma. Canadian pesos are worth plenty. As someone who is traveling to London and will be traveling to Colombia soon, I can assure you, Canadian pesos are not worthless by any means. It's like what is Canadian CAD to, now I'm curious, CAD to US, it's like 75, right? 71 cents. I am not going to do a siren sound, Joe, but please hit like and subscribe nonetheless. So BPF, I believe you are thinking that you got that from Morals and Dogma. Let me know if I'm correct or incorrect. And if you did, then you need to understand the context of that section and what Morals and Dogma was actually referring to. Here's what I'll say, Zero Factor. I love Canada. I think Canada is the greatest country in the world. One of the reasons I think we are the greatest country in the world is because we have the greatest neighbors in the world. That's my humble opinion on that. So, and it's not to say I'm a big fan of the political situation in the States right now, the president, but that doesn't mean I don't love the people. Well, BPF, there's a few things to recognize and understand about Morals and Dogma and Albert Pike. Albert Pike does not speak for all of Masonry. He was writing down his philosophies, some of which I agree with, some which I disagree with. He was also writing it primarily from a Scottish Rite Southern Masonic jurisdiction point of view, as opposed to what we have in Canada, which is a different jurisdictions altogether. And even in the States, right? There's a Northern Scottish Rite jurisdiction and there's Scottish Rite in Canada. So he was giving his philosophies. Also, and this is not me, this is him, this is Albert Pike. Albert Pike was a Luciferian. They're an interesting group of people because they don't believe that the serpent in the Garden of Eden was actually Satan. And what's interesting is in Genesis, it never says he was or it was. They tend to view Lucifer more as the light bringer, like a Prometheus figure, and Satan the angel is a different thing. It's a religious belief that Albert Pike had. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but he was speaking for himself exclusively. He was not speaking for Freemasonry. And he was just giving his philosophical ideas. In his mind, everybody of humanity ultimately worships the snake as the bringer of knowledge to Adam and Eve. I don't buy milk, so I don't know if it's $6 or not, but that is, things are getting expensive. Again, Freemasonry helped with that, though. It helped provide people support in a variety of different ways. So dark, I mean, you're pointing out all these things. There's also strong parts in the system as well. The budget passed. There's a lot of money being pumped into communities for a lot of different things. There's a lot of benefits as well. He was not speaking for Masons. He was speaking for him. In the same way I speak for me. Don't know much about the Book of Enoch. I think they mentioned the Book of Enoch there were giants, which I don't believe there were giants on the world. So I hope, again, no one does racist comments. I think that's what some people believe Brain Scrambles. By the way, Brain Scrambles, please hit like and subscribe. To everybody watching this, please hit like and subscribe. Get a life. This is my life. Thank you for being here. Housing prices are going up. So is the stock market. I am not a flat earther either. I had cram. I'm not sure what that means. Please hit like and subscribe. And I appreciate you being here very much. That's true. Not for a lot of people, not for everybody, but yeah. I mean, and getting a job is very challenging, but hold on just one sec. Right, we have a low debt to GDP ratio. We have a AAA credit rating. There's growth projected. We have a lot of infrastructure investments, which might get some more people some jobs. So there's a lot of positives as well. I'm saying I don't know what's going to happen. It would not shock me at all if we had a recession, but I'm not convinced it will happen yet. I think we should all be very modest and very humble in our ability to predict these things. The road, that is true, but also sometimes roads are just paved with bad intentions as well. John, I'm going to take what you're saying as serious, and what you need to do is talk to a professional. Talk to a professional, psychiatrist, psychologist, someone who can help you with any voices that you're hearing. 988 is oftentimes a really good crisis line to contact. So yes, I do, Choi N, but you can still hit the like and subscribe button and consider a 99-cent super chat. Come one, come all. I think one of Canada's greatest strength is our welcoming attitude and welcoming environment. Not really, I-head. Again, because of your friend and mine, Albert Pike, some people think it is, and a lot of conspiracy theories do, but it's not. Freemasonry is not linked to, Freemasonry is not a religion in any sense. I have been through thousands of Masonic events, never heard Lucifer mentioned once. It's entirely comes from Albert Pike and one section of his work, which should not be taken too seriously. There's a lot of different stigmas for a lot of different reasons, but primarily the private nature of our ceremonies gave conspiracy theorists ammunition, and we did not do ourselves any favor by, when they came out, retreating and not engaging. We should have been out front and honest about what we are from the start, instead of letting conspiracy theorists kind of run the show. And there were other reasons. In World War II and before that, Hitler famously linked Freemasonry to Judaism as a way to attack both groups. A lot of people still took that and kind of ran with it for, especially if they were already racist or anti-Semitic. And I think a lot of people, if they're struggling with their life and looking for someone to blame, they'll blame Freemasonry. Well, Pike, that might be a myth, OI too. There is one book that people say is Albert Pike, but it's not. It was a hoax, where they say he predicted World War III and stuff. That wasn't written by Albert Pike. That was a hoax. I'm no fan of Albert Pike necessarily. I think he did some stuff right, some stuff wrong, but he was a good dude nonetheless. Thank you, everybody. And by the way, it's been a wonderful stream. I do my best, Zach. And again, I could be wrong, but it might be better to be optimistic and right, or optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Um, well, you want to be careful. You want to avoid blaming as a general rule. My granddad was a Freemason, got high up in the ranks. Awesome. My granddad, both my grandfathers were Freemasons, um, as well as my dad was a Freemason also. Being a Freemason really helped me feel connected to all of my family, especially my grandparents. So, yeah, that's something that's really special. Made me feel really special when I joined is the fact that I got to be part of something that my grandfather was a part of. Um, no worries, Shelby, and thank you for being here. It's been a wonderful stream. If you want to support the channel, like, subscribe, become a member, and do a super chat, even 99 cents. No, they were from different lodges, Brain. One was from a lodge in England, one was from a lodge in one was from a lodge in England, and one was from a lodge in Winnipeg. What's so interesting is even though they were both different members of lodges at different times, um, uh, or so both members in different countries, they actually became the worshipful master in the same year, which I thought was really, really cool. Good morning from Stockholm, Sweden. Hello, Swedish Moose. Thank you for being here. Please hit like and subscribe if you're new. My ex-brother is a Freemason, a real POS. Sorry about that. It sucks. However, you can be a Freemason and be a POS. The two things are not mutually exclusive. At the end of the day, Freemasons are human beings, and all of the good and bad that comes with being a human being comes with being a Freemason. So that's the case. What does not make me one? A Mason, a POS? I'd like to think I'm not a POS. I hope I'm not. Um, Sometimes I can be, though, in fairness. I'm as what's the word I'm looking for? I am as flawed and imperfect as anybody else. Um, Zero factor. Which is the difference of the Freemason? Well, a POS piece of shit. Somebody above said their brother-in-law was a Freemason and a piece of shit. What I'm saying is, I don't think I try not to be, but the point is, just because you're a Freemason doesn't automatically mean you're going to be a good person. I think if you're a Freemason and you're following the philosophies of Masonry, you will be a good person. But that is up to you, and it doesn't protect. It's not like you're a Freemason, you're automatically good. That's not how it works. And so, unfortunately, sometimes people can be Freemasons and be bad people. And you just have to kind of accept it's unfortunate, and we as Freemasons should do our best to make sure if someone is a bad person or POS, we don't let them be a Mason, but you can never know. We're not trying to control anybody's mind. The death and birth dates, I'm not sure. I mean, we usually don't have those dates. I'm not sure. The only thing I can think of, Shelby, is sometimes if a brother passes away, I'll have a Masonic funeral, and on the apron, sometimes we'll write not just his name, but the year his initiated, passed, raised, and passed away. A short explanation. Hey, Pen, please hit like and subscribe, by the way. Freemasonry is a civic club or a social club founded in the 17th century primarily, and it acts as a social support group. We do not do any of those things. And whether I like men or women should not be relevant to this stream. Nice. That's awesome, Courtney. That is very, very awesome. Well, Nathan, no, I did not. And let's not start casting aspersions on this stream because then YouTube gets upset at me and it becomes a whole thing. I don't have time to be getting YouTube to disabuse me of its monetization program. So let's just keep that in mind. Um, well, Illuminati, I don't know if that happened or not, but if it did, I'm very sorry, and I hope you talked to the police and told the police and the authorities. Yeah, no, sorry that he's not great. I mean, Shelby, in a general sense, when you bring up wearing of the ring, I always remind people, just because someone is wearing a Masonic ring, that doesn't automatically mean they're a Freemason, right? That's not how it works. Um, right? Just because you are automatically wearing a ring, you could have got it from your family, you could have bought one, you could have liked the design, you could have found it. Don't assume because someone's wearing a ring, they're automatically a Freemason. It's about dues cards, it's about other things. And yeah, not everybody will have Masonic values. It just is what it is. Well, first, what you should do, Illuminati, is talk to the authorities about, what happened, is what you should do. Well, if they were stonemasons, zero factor, they wouldn't have that ring because the square and compass with the G, that's a specifically Masonic symbol. It's Freemasons. It's not stonemasons. Stonemasons have different symbols. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how often these rings get passed down generation to generation through wills, through whatever it is, eventually to someone who doesn't even know what Freemasonry is. They just like the ring and like wearing it. That happens all the time, believe me. Um, which is okay. I mean, again, you can't stop them from wearing the ring. It's not like I can tell anybody they're not allowed to wear a Masonic ring. I would hope that they wouldn't if they're not a Freemason. What I actually hope they do is bring their ring to the Masonic Lodge. But, well, yeah, Kumai, this is how suddenly this is how YouTube gets mad and starts getting me in trouble. So let's everybody be nice to the algorithm, please, and the chat. The stonemasons would win, I have no doubt. Stonemasons working with stone all day, they're big and strong. They destroy us. Maybe I get a decent shot in. I don't know. Well, I mean, from the burying part, yeah. If he wants to be, I mean, some Masons do. Some Masons, for whatever reason, I wouldn't pick this myself, but want to be buried with all of their Masonic items, including even their jewels and stuff. I wouldn't do that. I want to give it to the lodge, right? And like when I pass away, all of these rings, all these pins, all my rings, all my coins are all going to the Masonic Lodge to be kept. I am a Freemason LA Clipper fan. Please hit like and subscribe. Any thoughts on Freemasonry? I do not. I have a cat. I got to disagree with you on that, BPF. And I also got to disagree on that one, B Chipper. I mean, if all of these pins don't convince you that I am a legitimate Mason, I don't know what will be. And there is no such thing as a humiliation ritual in Lodge. I've never felt humiliated in Masonic Lodge. If I did, I wouldn't stick around. Here you go. Here are all my pins. Some of these are from when I donate blood, in fairness, but like, this is from London. This is from Los Angeles. This is from Paducah, Kentucky. This is from Ottawa. These are tools. I love these pins. Yes, this is a Masonic Lodge where is it? I can't find it now. Here it is. I'm really fond of this pin from a lodge in Los Angeles. I am not. I have no interest in recruiting anybody. You should join of your own free will and accord, not because you want to join. So this is interesting. So I was organizing an event, and we are right across the river from Detroit. And the Detroit Masonic Temple was holding a screening of Ancient Aliens. And so, as a consequence of that, they gave us tickets to give away as a giveaway. And uh, they gave us tickets to see Ancient Aliens. And the brother who won the tickets, he went to the show and he got a pin and he gave me this in honor of it. So. I don't know what proselytizing means. I just love talking about Freemasonry, so why wouldn't I want to do it, right? It's like anything else. If I love talking about something, I want to talk about it on YouTube. Uh, we are talking about Freemasonry. I got into Freemasonry 2007, so literally 20 years ago almost, which is crazy to think how old it's been. Um, No, we cannot, Nathan. No, we cannot. It means to try to recruit people, which this is not about, I promise you. Um, it is, again, it came from Ancient Aliens. I do not laugh at them, but I mean, I admire the shrine for all the work it does. A great part of our Masonic family, without question. Um, I don't think there's a conflict of interest. Look, I have no issue, Stephen, uh, with to me, if you're going to join, let's say, the police, and there's a requirement that you disclose membership in, fraternal or civic organizations, I think that's perfectly fine. And I would have no issue with a police officer joining and having to disclose he is a Freemason to, his boss. So long as when he does that, he also discloses any other groups, right? Because my problem is if you have to exclusively disclose that you're a Freemason, my problem with that is it's casting judgments on Freemasonry, which I don't think is fair. There's the plain pin. I did get a picture of it. I don't know what the rules are, Nathan. You have to follow the rules of wherever you're from in terms of carrying a pistol. Nino, what you should do is hit like and subscribe, is what you should do. And even consider doing a 99-cent super chat just to help the stream out, get more people finding it. Thank you, everybody who's joined so far. It's been a great stream, very, very well attended. And I appreciate everybody being here very much. I've got a lot more streams coming up that I'm really excited for. I get both, maybe. Maybe I have both hidden knowledge and pins and stickers and coins and tarot cards. I got a lot of different cool stuff in my Masonic travels. It's something I really, really am proud of. Very much. Is all the things I managed to collect in my very awesome Masonic journey. So, Nocti, we are none of that, but okay. What are so every Freemason has to decide that for himself. I mean, the simplest answer you could give to that is brotherly love, relief, and truth, right? That's the simplest answer you can give to that question. I do have a big nose. Please hit like and subscribe. However, every Mason has his own aspirations. For me, it's the aspiration to build a better world through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. But what Freemasonry is to each individual Mason is what makes it special. You definitely do not, Nocti. Otherwise, all the ranks I've got, I would have spent a lot of time doing that. So you are incorrect. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. As always, please take a moment. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hope I'm answering your questions well. I can wheel. I got a wheelchair. It's wonderful. You can travel with no legs. It's not like the 1920s. Um, wow, Nocti is an angry, unhappy person. Well, fair enough. What are you going to do? It's still wonderful to have him here. He was Ace, a Freemason. He was actually known for being like a very active Freemason, one of the most active Freemasons. Even while he was the President of the United States, he still made time to go to all his different Masonic events and celebrations. Nothing. They'll just be asked to leave. That's about it. Yeah, I think that's a really good explanation, Shu. That's a really good explanation. Our foundation is a metaphorical foundation based on stonemasonry, is the best way to think about it. So that's a very good way to explain it. Hey, I will crawl upstairs if I have to. I will absolutely crawl upstairs if I have to. And I've done it before. So stairs cannot defeat me. Maybe if there's enough stairs or a really steep ramp, we do not zero factor. I will say this. I once went to the Grand Lodge of California, which is located in San Francisco. San Francisco is a very hilly town. The Grand Lodge is at the very top of a hill. I made it halfway up, and I couldn't make it any further. I had to get somebody who was walking down the street to help me up the rest of the way. He was there for his daughter's wedding and just happened to be passing by and helped me up the hill. So I was not defeated by stairs. I was defeated by very steep hills. So, I made it, though. That's the point. It is not, Nathan. San Francisco was great. Don't knock San Francisco. I am one like away from 2,890 subs. Let's see if we can get that one more sub. It doesn't mean that, Ace. There is an element of the idea of freedom to travel within Freemasonry or Freestone, but Freemasons do not mean free men, at least not literally. If you wanted to argue in some sense metaphorically, that's fine, but not literally. Right, because the term Freemason it came from one of two possible options. It either came from the idea of being a Freemason as being a Mason that was free to travel around the world, in fact, to different job sites to help find work and wages and employment, or it meant a type of stone called freestone that they could work with. That's cool. I mean, you might have a lodge that's made up of all fencers. Sometimes lodges were formed around special interests, was very common. So you might have a lodge of railroad workers, a lodge of police officers, a lodge of historians, a lodge of scientists. That was very common. In terms of contribution, you have to contribute your dues every year. That can be, for me, it's between $100 and $200 per year. Right? That's usually how much it costs. Beyond that, really, how much you contribute is up to you, for better or worse. I am disabled. I'm missing my legs. And then in terms of qualifying, the most basic qualifications, I'm going to talk about the fraternal side of it. You need to be, you need to be a man to join the fraternal side of it. You need to be over the correct age. In Canada, that's usually 21, and you need to believe in a supreme being. But that supreme being is up to you. I think so. I hope so. I try to have good intentions and integrity, and I hope that all Freemasons do. Freemasonry, though, it's humans. Unfortunately, they're not all, we have the same weaknesses as everybody else. I did LA Clipper. I'm surprised no one made that joke before. I did have them. I was missing them before I joined Freemasonry. I was born without my legs. But I'm surprised that more people haven't made that joke. I used to make that joke to people who are nervous about Freemasonry. I would always say I used to have legs, and then I joined Freemasonry, but that was a joke. I was born without my legs. I am Windsor, Ontario. Born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba, now live in Windsor, Ontario. Canada is the greatest country in the world because it has the greatest neighbors in the world. How has the fraternity? It's impacted my life in a lot of different ways. Honestly, that's probably a bigger topic than to discuss today. That might actually even be the topic I discuss during my December 24-hour live stream. It might be really fun to talk about it then. But it's impacted my life in a variety of ways. I will say this: it's brought me, I made friends with you, Courtney, and you're my brother, and I made friends with people around the world and made brothers around the world. I cannot speak French. I wish I could. It's one thing I really want to learn is how to speak French. Well, your 33rd is incorrect. And there's no such thing as a 33rd master. So I don't quite know what that means, but those don't exist. Dixon, you are incorrect. No, yeah, because is it free? I mean, there's a lot of confusion that can exist around that term, unfortunately, but that's okay. Um, it's still, it's one of those things where I think a lot of people misunderstand what the term Freemasonry means. I hope I explained it well, the two possible origins of it. I know what a 33rd degree is, but there's no such thing as no Mason has a 33rd master. That's not how it works. At most, you have a worshipful master of your Masonic lodge. But even then, he's not your personal master. That's not how it works. That's not what that means, right? Freemasonry isn't slavery. It means he's the master of the lodge and he governs the lodge. Um, I am familiar with it. I don't know much about it, Adam, but I'm at least familiar with it. I've heard of it a few different times. Um, that's the best way to think of it. I mean, you get what you know. I what people get. Um, what people get out of it is really a personal thing. Like one thing I get out of it is I feel closer to my grandfather because he passed away before I was born, but he was a Freemason. But that's unique to me. There are some people who joined who never had any family members who were Freemasons. They may get a family for the first time. They may get a brother for the first time. Stone versus free, care to explain? So, back in the Middle Ages, there was, or well, even today, but there is this type of stone. It's a type of limestone. It was called freestone because it formed in such a way that you could actually just almost pull it out of quarries. Like you didn't have to chip away at it. It would just kind of be pulled out in these long slabs. And it was called freestone. And some people say that the term Freemason, it was a mason who worked specifically with that type of stone because it was very brittle and hard to work with. They were the most skilled type of mason. So you'd have your masons and your stone masons who would work with most type of stone, and then you'd have your Freemasons who'd work with that specific type of stone because it took more skill and ability. And so some say the term Freemason evolved from that, and then we adopted it when we became speculative Masons. Um, Liam, please hit like and subscribe. I'm not going to answer you. The answer is no. I would say the main allure, there is no main allure. You'd have to ask every Mason why they joined. I would say, in general, the main allure of being a Freemason is the same as the main allure to join any group, the human desire to belong, right? It's our human nature and desire to belong and to want to be part of something. Um, no, sadly, no. Well, I mean, nothing. I mean, as a Freemason, you're in a more privileged position to be supportive in the community because you have more resources. Like, you know more people, you have your brethren, you have, in theory, maybe benevolence funds. If you want to support a charity, you can ask the lodge to support that charity, right? You can do all those type of things. In theory, you can be a supportive person without being a Mason and just be a good neighbor, be a good friend, But being a Freemason gives you, in some ways, more opportunities to practice support in a larger circle and a larger group. The answer for almost everybody would say family. Family comes first, then lodge. To me, the answer is sometimes the lodge can be your family. So, yes, let's get those likes up indeed. Although I think I will be. I do not know glass masons. I don't know if you're making a joke. They have jarheads, or are you saying like it's a military branch, of which I've not heard of? What I will say though is this stream has been an absolute blast, but I think I gotta run because I do gotta wake up early tomorrow. I got some boxing lessons. We'll see how I do. Um, Thank you again for joining though. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Consider becoming a community member, and I hope everybody has an excellent, excellent night. Toodles to everybody. See you maybe at 1 p.m. tomorrow. All right, talk to you later. Oh, I'm a member of a lot of different lodges, but my mother lodge is Windsor Lodge 403. I'm a member of a few other ones. I don't know my favorite grub spot. Honestly, I'm gonna say Ellie's Pancake House in Chicago. Whenever I go to Chicago, actually in Glenview. Whenever I go to Glenview, Illinois, I visit Ellie's Pancake House, and I love it. So yeah, so there you go. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. Have an excellent night.